ending today's injustice. Tell us your story. We want to hear from you today. AmericaBreakYourSilence.com with She's the Boss Productions and She's the Boss Radio.org. Stay tuned for today's show. Good morning, everybody. You've reached April Malloy with America Break Your Silence. Today's podcast is about hate crimes. Today, we're living in a world where people are hated based on their skin color, based on a pandemic that happened, based on you're pregnant, many other situations for hate crime. Now, there is no reason for hate crime, so we have to make that clear, that we must end suffering and injustice. Today is, I'm going to go through a few episodes in regards to my story, and I ask anyone out there who too has suffered injustice to give us a call. Call us at 212-960-8290. Again, 212-960-8290, and tell us your story. We want to hear from you. Be the next guest on our America Break Your Silence show, and tune in to she'sthebossradio.org. We are the hottest hits, from American hot hits to Hebrew hot hits. You don't want to miss our amazing radio station. So, guys, a few of y'all know my story. A lot of times when people don't hear your side, you are totally destroyed in a silence that you have no idea is going on. For me, it was, payoffs. We had everything from conspiracy to collusion to racketeering to unfair trade practices, all brought up by domestic violence. While pregnant, I was beat down pregnant because I refused to bow down and do what I was ordered to do. Now we find out the story has become so alarming. Years of suffering. In fact, the very moment that I was on Fox News, my construction website was pointed to a porn site. I have been posted on the most outrageous sites, and all done in a silent war against me and my children. Emails were sent out to clients. My emails were hacked. My phones were hacked. And by the way, women, men, domestic violence could be happening to you, and you have no idea that it's even happening until it's really almost too late, where you've pretty much lost everything you owned and made homeless. This is a real hate crime. Today we have Asians being beat down in the streets. I totally understand what it means to have hate crime done to yourself. I have experienced extreme hate crimes. And I decided that staying silent isn't really the key. They keep posting silence is golden and having my websites hacked. I have tried numerous times to get them to talk to me, to reason with me, to even go to the point of restitution, but they don't want to do that. For me, it was because of a DNA fraud and another man's ego and anger that it really wasn't his child. And another man, we're talking about, I'm experiencing abuse from two major rich men. One I allowed to pay less than childcare cost. My son Job Emmanuel Swig now suffers from autism from the beatdown. And I can say her name because the police came, and I am an eyewitness because she beat me down, Peggy Rosa. Later, we found that she got a job to do this. She didn't even know me. Pulled me down by my hair and slammed her boots into my stomach. I was 31 weeks pregnant, taken to Wayne Memorial Hospital, hemorrhaging. My son, when he was born, he was so sick. The very second he was born, his lungs collapsed. I was then taken to the heart floor. Just the strain and the stress of all that I endured through the pregnancy. It was the most horrific experience of a hate crime just for being pregnant. So I can't imagine. I can only feel the pain of Asian Americans as they're being beat down in the streets. This is a hate crime. This is very serious. We are all human beings. We all bleed the same. They didn't cause the pandemic. It's not their fault. As it wasn't my fault that I got pregnant. And in fact, the man actually made me believe that he was very careful. I had no idea that he wasn't careful until I was pregnant. I knew that I'd taken pills 30 days prior before Mr. Dan Hollander had broken up with me. We dated for a year. He was my very serious boyfriend. I was very much in love with him. It was easy to trick me because when I love very deeply. I had no idea any of this would ever happen to me and my children. I was used as a pawn between these two men with the egos. They were hurting us with landlords. I found out deals behind closed doors to unfair trade practices and made to look like a scam artist after sexually being abused. All posted on my website with this Pauline Rusinich. The hate crimes has been extreme. My children crying out. We're all suffering so bad. We've been made to go into poverty, hoping I would never be able to fight back. I have had to fight every ounce of courage and strength. They keep sending me people to play games and act like I'm going to win and, they're going to let me win or maybe they'll let me win. I've dealt with that game for 7 years. You get to the point where you realize the only option you have is to fight back with everything you got. You know, people all say, well, you just need to let it go. Maybe they'll let you work. Or here's the thing. When you have employees that you're responsible for and you're left to be the hangman and unable to pay them, and your children are about to go homeless because you've also been unpaid, it is the worst experience when you have a heart for people to watch. So until everything is settled, I can't even work or get deals unless it's, my own deals as a developer. There's no other option because I can't imagine that happening to my men and myself ever again. Unfair trade practice. All for why? I had a baby. I have honest to God, lost millions and millions of dollars. What they didn't understand is as they felt that in their mind, I was something to be ashamed of. They had no idea it was everything to be proud of. I am a builder. I'm on my A game. And I'm great at what I do and love what I do. But I can't subject my workers to a possibility of unfair trade practices brought upon these powerful men who have connections. I have to stand up for myself. There's no option. Sometimes you're put in a position, in a situation where there is no options. You're already in hell. You're already walking through hell. You might as well go and fight with all you got. And find the courage and the strength within yourself to stand up and fight, because you're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for your children. And your children deserve the greatest life. A lot of people don't think, what if I were to die today? Nobody is promised tomorrow. I'm a widow of a veteran. I'm the first one to tell you just how life is so precious. 1 minute you're here and the next minute you're gone. The love of your life could be walking out that door today and you don't see them come back home. I'm telling you right now that you have to fight for your children. All the money and the millions of dollars that I have lost, my children right at this very given moment has absolutely nothing, because power and control, the misuse of power and control, when does it stop? You have to be the one to say, we can't do this no more. We've given you every option. I messaged them I for almost 2 years now, trying to reason. But sometimes you can't reason with people who have no empathy. They know they're hurting their very own children, their own blood, and they could care less. Contacting landlords, putting my old modeling pictures, because I was up for Maxim magazine, on really bad sites. I've called the police and they do absolutely nothing. Cyberbullying is so extreme these days. Do you know that it only cost a couple $100 to get people's phone records? That's all they did. It was so easy. All they needed was my email to know the iCloud or to take a real nice guess. And they had all the money and all the resources to do it without any care the effects of little children and what if something happens to their mom. They would rather had their children in foster homes than to ever be caught with what they have done. Instead of coming and making restitution and reconciliation, they think with their own minds. They think that there's people out there that is not capable of mercy because they have no mercy. So as a mother, as a woman of faith, I had to stand up and file in the New York City courts. I have all the evidence. It was such a shock to see a heritage test say the truth all along. I honestly just assumed with the medication that I was taking that it took over 30 days for the baby to attach. But that's not what happened. I was made to believe this man was careful. So even when Mr. Hollander, the love, my second love, told me to do certain things, I remember feeling, oh my God, what man that loves you would ever tell you to do something so heinous, to sit there and rip a baby's body apart. A lot of people don't understand the Roe versus Wade. This is before we had sonograms. And now at these abortion clinics, they make sure that you don't see what's on the screen. If they had nothing to hide, and it was really just a bunch of sales, they wouldn't turn screens away from women. I think so many women who are not empowered, don't know what's going on, they fall for this. Because he's powerful, I'm going to obey the man because I don't want